Well, India's chicken neck may look like a narrow strip on the map, but it carries the lifeline of the entire northeast. It's at its narrowest. The Siliguri Corridor is barely 20 kilometers wide, connecting over 45 million people in the northeast to mainland India. Surrounded by Bangladesh, the China-Bhutan tri-junction and the sensitive Chumbi Valley region, this corridor is one of India's most strategic security zones. Decades of incomplete fencing and operational gaps under previous governments created vulnerabilities in infiltration and border security. Now, with 120 acres handed over to the centre for BSF infrastructure and border fencing, faster control over highways, troop movement, rail upgrades and military logistics is being strengthened. This is a strategic move to secure India's borders, connectivity and national integration. Hello and welcome. You're watching Deep Dive. My name is Vineet Malhotra. In recent months, Siliguri has been a central focal point for cross-border issues concerning Bangladesh. The strategic city located at India's Chicken's Neck corridor has experienced several key developments. So why is India fortifying the Siliguri corridor? Let's break it down for you. Firstly, fencing work has started along the India-Bangladesh border in the Fancy Deva area of Siliguri subdivision after the West Bengal government handed over 27 kilometers of land to the Border Security Force, marking a key step towards strengthening border security in the region. Visuals from the border town showed fencing work underway, with officials initiating groundwork following the long pending land transfer. The move is expected to bolster surveillance and improve security infrastructure along the sensitive international border. Residents of the area expressed relief over the development, calling it a long-awaited measure to address persistent security concerns. The development comes days after West Bengal Chief Minister Suvendu Adhikari announced in Howrah that the state government was ready to transfer 27 kilometers of land for fencing along the India-Bangladesh border, along with additional land for border outposts and BSF infrastructure. The Chief Minister had said that the decision followed renewed coordination with central agencies after earlier delays in land allocation. He had also criticized the previous Trinamool Congress government, alleging it did not cooperate in providing land for fencing, which he said had affected border security. The Chief Minister added that the decision taken in the first cabinet meeting had set the transfer process in motion, with the land to be handed over to the Ministry of Home Affairs within 45 days, after which BSF fencing work would be completed. On the other hand, a BJP MLA in North Bengal has formally urged the state government to carve out a separate Siliguri district from the existing Darjeeling district, arguing that the strategic Chicken Neck corridor requires a more efficient governance structure. In a letter addressed to Chief Minister Suvendu Adhikari on May 20th, BJP MLA Ananda May Burman said that the long-standing demand for a separate Siliguri district had become necessary because of the region's growing population, strategic importance and administrative difficulties faced by residents. Siliguri subdivision forms the plains of the Darjeeling district. The subdivisions of Darjeeling, Kurseong and Mirik form the district's hill areas. Burman highlighted Siliguri's importance as the second largest urban hub in West Bengal and largest city in North Bengal, claiming that over 25 lakh people reside in and around the city. Burman underscored the strategic significance of the proposed district because of its location in the Siliguri Corridor, which is called the Chicken's Neck. The proposed Siliguri Administrative District lies in the heart of the Chicken's Neck Corridor, sharing borders with Nepal, Bangladesh and providing access to Bhutan and Tibet. According to the proposal, the new district would include the entire Siliguri subdivision under the jurisdiction of the Darjeeling district and parts of Jalpaiguri district which are within the Siliguri Municipal Corporation. The proposal is for the inclusion of portions of the Rajganj block in Jalpaiguri district, which covers nearly 200 square kilometers, including Siliguri Municipal Corporation wards from 31 to 44, apart from the Gram Panchayats of Dabgram 1, Dabgram 2, Fulbari 1 and Fulbari 2 in the proposed district. The proposed district would comprise 4 assembly constituencies: Siliguri, Matigara, Naxalbari, Fancy Deva and Dabgram Fulbari. If the new district is created as mooted by Burman, it would be spread across around 1,000 square kilometers. The MLA argued that residents of the Dabgram Fulbari constituency have to travel more than 40 kilometers to Jalpaiguri town for official work. Burman has said that Siliguri possesses the infrastructure required for district status, including the Siliguri District Hospital, Siliguri Mahakuma Parishad, a Siliguri Municipal Corporation and the Siliguri Police Commissionerate. Thirdly, in a major strategic and infrastructure move, the West Bengal government has cleared the transfer of 7 crucial national highway stretches in the corridor to central agencies, paving the way for stalled road and railway expansion projects in one of India's most sensitive regions. It will also improve the Bihar-Bengal corridor through Malda and Murshidabad and upgrade the road spine running through Murshidabad, Nadia and North 24 Parganas up to the Indo-Bangladesh border at Ghojadang. The move is also tied to a much larger strategic railway expansion plan in the corridor. The centre is planning to expand the existing double railway line into a 6-track system, including a 40-kilometre underground rail corridor between Teen Mile Hat and Rangapani stations. The underground section, to be built 20 to 24 meters below the surface, is designed to shield critical military supply logistics from potential aerial strikes, artillery attacks and drone warfare. Security experts have long viewed the Siliguri corridor as a geopolitical pressure point because any disruption in the narrow strip could potentially isolate nearly 50 million people in northeast India from the rest of the country. The latest handover is now expected to accelerate long pending infrastructure work in the region, which has become increasingly crucial amidst rising security concerns and growing connectivity demands in eastern and northeastern India. Security concerns around the corridor have increased over the years, particularly after the 2017 Doklam standoff between India and China near the India-Bhutan-China tri-junction. Doklam is at the tri-junction of India, China and Bhutan. It is part of the strategic Chumbi Valley leading to the Dokla Pass, which connects Tibet with Sikkim. China and Bhutan have a territorial dispute over Doklam. In 1998, both sides agreed not to change the status quo in the area until a final settlement between the two countries was achieved. The current standoff commenced after the Chinese began to construct a road in the disrupted area. So the matter of concern is the Chumbi Valley, a tenuous and treacherous mountain frontier which connects to the Amuchu River. Reports based on surveillance images suggest that the construction of villages by China along the Amuchu River as it triggered speculation that Bhutan has ceded territory to China. The corridor is also seen as a choke point in any future military conflict involving China. If China were to ally more directly with Bangladesh or secure access to bases like Lal Monirhat, it would give Beijing new leverage in the region. Lastly, Bangladesh's Prime Minister Tariq Rahman, who took office in February, formally asked China earlier this month to help with its Teesta River restoration project. The $1 billion scheme aims to dredge the rehabilitation more than 102 kilometers of a waterway that originates in the eastern Himalayas and passes through India's Sikkim and West Bengal before flowing into Bangladesh. China has long shown an interest in reviving the Teesta River, which passes close to the Siliguri Corridor, a 20-kilometer wide, 60-kilometer long sliver of land also known as the Chicken's Neck. From India's perspective, Teesta is no longer a water-sharing issue with Bangladesh, it is a security issue. The Teesta sits close to the Siliguri Corridor or the Chicken's Neck. The project's perimeter sits about 30 to 50 kilometers south of the Chicken's Neck. The Chicken's Neck is not just a cartographic curiosity. It is a strategic fulcrum for India's northeastern policy, its neighborhood diplomacy and its military doctrine. All right, let's also talk about this and get some perspective from our guest as well. Joining us on the program is Ambassador Bhaswati Mukherjee, former diplomat, Major General Sudhakar Ji, geopolitical and defense expert, also joining us on the show. Last but not the least, Major General Dhruv Katoch, a defense expert, also with us on the program. General Katoch, I will begin with you, sir. Important to understand that there have been some changes in the strategic corridor and this Chicken's Neck in the last few days, ever since there was a change in government. This is also something which was a responsibility of the past, but it's better late than never, sir.
Thank you, Vineet. Vineet, I think the West Bengal elections have been a game changer as far as India's national security is concerned. For one, finally, the center and the state are aligned towards national strategic objectives. And as you very rightly mentioned in your opening remarks, the Siliguri corridor, especially the chicken neck area, is very vulnerable. So the road communication and the rail communication, which are actually taking place now, um, they will ensure that the northeast area of India does not get cut off, especially because now there is also an underground link. The second aspect is, when you also spoke of the river waters, both the Tista and you didn't speak of the Ganga, but you certainly spoke of the Tista. Uh, Bangladesh has been pressing for a water arrangement as far as the Tista River is concerned. I don't think we should ever get into that territory ever. That is one. Number two, as the subject has come up of water, the Ganga Water Treaty is also expiring but towards the end of this year. We should let it lapse and not revive it again. It is not that we will be taking away water from Bangladesh, but we will do what we have to do in our national interest. On the security issue, I think the most significant aspect is really this border fencing, because the problem is not so much that there is a fence or there is not a fence. It is in the absence of a fence, a large number of Bangladeshis continue to come inside India, and we have seen a population inversion taking place. This has already happened in many areas in Assam, which is now getting rectified. It has happened in many areas in West Bengal, which I think will take another 5 to 10 years to rectify. West Bengal, the way the border areas, the demography had changed, I think is a cause of alarm. Even today, when you saw the election results of Bangladesh, it was the Jamaat which has won all the elections in the border area, in the areas adjoining India. And that, I think, is a point of concern. Now getting this fence through, the first step is to ensure that no illegal infiltration takes place. And number two, the people who have illegally infiltrated must be pushed back across the border the fastest. I think these are the initial first steps that we should take. And later on, as the situation develops, we can take it up from there. Vineet.
You're absolutely right. Ambassador Mukherjee, there's something hovering above my mind as well, apart from the strategic, importance of these actions. It is also looming large and haunting us in a lot of ways. That why weren't these initiatives and avenues sought earlier on? Our equation with Bangladesh and China over the last few years has only gone worse. Has the politics divided us in terms of a national perspective as to what is prudent for the country and what is not, ma'am?
Yes, it is very, very troubling that a state government which owes loyalty to the Constitution of India should block the security of our international border with Bangladesh, knowing how vulnerable the chicken's neck is, etc. All these proposals that you were describing had been proposed to the Mamata Banerjee government repeatedly. And she repeatedly refused, almost as if you would think that she is the chief minister of Bangladesh, not of West Bengal. Moreover, the inhabitants who have come out and welcomed this, they said that their life was made a misery. They were not able to grow crops. They were not able to cultivate cows and buffaloes, which used to be stolen at night to be taken for slaughter on the other side of the border, etc. But more than that, what is very scary is the fact that had the BJP not won these elections, this situation could have festered for another 5 years, and we could have seen a third partition of Bengal. That is extremely troubling to me as a Bengali who comes from Dhaka Vikrampur, East Bengal, as my parents used to call it. It was East Bengal. That's where we all came. It was Hindu majority, by the way. It was always Hindu majority. It was never Muslim majority. And the fencing, which we've given the land to the border security force, the fencing has started, etc. This could have been completed by 2026 rather than, as General Kapoor correctly pointed out, take another 5 years. This is horrifying. Moreover, it is good that in the 24 Parganas area, all on our side of the border have been won by the BJP. The seats in the of the Jamaat on other side of the border, facing them, those seats have been won by Tamil. So while I am see the 20 Pathanas, which is very vulnerable, it's secure because the BJP is all the seats are with this side where the seats are with Jamaat, the corresponding seats are with Islam. So we have to be very, very careful in this area. Furthermore, have to make sure that those parts of the border, because of the geographical conditions, that we take steps like we've done in other difficult areas. Free hand to the border security force, and we should keep a full battalion of the Indian Army there, because it is too dangerous. And I agree, as the ceasefire is concerned, never there one drop. These ungrateful people who are just there waiting to annex our territory and have a third partition of it. And unfortunately, as I always say, partition comes to states whose people are not internally united. That is why Persia was never colonized. That is why Afghanistan was colonized. That is why India was colonized. We can't internal differences decide national good, national security. Must do that in future. So India must try to save India from a third partition in the east. Very, very urgent. And it's a very alarming situation. And we agree with the proposals put forward about making Siliguri a district. I have many friends and relatives in that area, and they say that they are so relieved by the BJP victory. They feel so safe. It feels so unsafe over there, as if it was not part of India at all. When we talk about Balochistan not being under Pakistani control, it is scary to think that until this Trinamool was thrown out, there were parts of our border areas which were not fully under our control. That must never happen again.
You're right, ma'am. General Sudhakarji, does it worry you that Bangladesh has shown, a profound proclivity towards China in the recent past years, and that obviously is a worry and is a sore point for India and its strategic goals?
Absolutely, Vinit. Good evening. Thank you for inviting me for your show, and my very deep regards and warm greetings to very distinguished and esteemed co-panelists. Without any doubt, and like Ambassador and General Officer, they both covered the issue, that it was as if should have been done 10 years back. What is being done, because we as military people, we are taught and we are practiced to stay away from politics, but now the situation is evolving in such a critical manner that political stability is also becoming part and parcel. It is an intrinsic part of national security imperative. I'm constrained to make this statement that one has to endorse what Ambassador Mohammed said, because she's talking about a second partition. One was really concerned and very worried that perhaps all our 7 sisters or 8 sisters would be severed.
So there seems to be a problem with the audio. In fact, we are facing some technical issues with the audio of our guests as well. There have been some dips. Unfortunately, we'll have to end this right here. We're going to dip into a short break, figure out the technicality, and be right back.